See, what some people do, especially young people, they feel like, okay, listen, here's all the negative things about me that could come up eventually. So I'm going to give them all to you now at my first job interview, or I'm going to give them all to you now on my resume, on my application. So what this results in is they make a terrible first impression. The company is looking at 800 applications for a job. And they look at this resume. In fact, it's more likely that an ATS looks at that resume. But it starts off by saying, now listen, okay, I think it's only fair that you should know that I have this disability. And I think it's only fair that you should know that I refuse to do shift work. And I think it's only fair that you know that I have these wants, wills, and needs. And, there was once an incident where I got mad at somebody in a previous job. And, just so you don't find out about that later, I want you to know about that now. So it's all up front and we're honest, right? So what's the end result? The end result is like, I'm just meeting this person. All I know is that they have disabilities. They had some incidents in their past. They've had arguments in their past. They don't want to do shift work. And they have all these particular wants, wills, and needs of, how their work environment should be set up. It's like, I've got 800 people to choose from here. I'm probably going to not prioritize this person as number one. I'm going to push them down to the bottom of the list, right? So the end result is that it just hurts you. You know what I'm saying? What you're doing is, welcome to hell. This is actually the sales process. That's what this actually is. This whole job interview thing, it's the sales process. You're selling yourself. You're basically saying to the employer, listen, all those other people you're talking to, you need to forget about them and you need to hire me. And here's why. Okay, that's basically what you're doing in a job interview. Right? So you want to make a very good first impression. You don't want to lead with anything negative or that could be seen as negative. You want to lead only with your strengths. If you only have 1 minute to tell them stuff about you, all the stuff that comes out of your mouth should be like your strengths, your positives. I have this education. I have these experiences, like this many years of experience on the things that you are looking for. I have these skills, things you've said you're looking for. I've got those. I have a great attitude. I'm easy to get along with. I'm very passionate about doing this kind of work, right? And then your minute runs out. What's the impression they're left with? They're left with this impression that, wow, this person looks pretty good. Let's shortlist them. They're one of the better ones, right? So you get moved on to the next stage of the process, and the people that led with all their negatives in the spirit of honesty and full disclosure, they didn't make it that far. So nobody ever then takes a closer look at them, right? So what I'd recommend is that you lead only with your positives. Leave your negatives out. And when you get to the offer stage, you do the same thing. And then when you start the job, you get the job in the bag first, right? Get it in the bag, just get the job. And then what I suspect will probably happen is that the fact that you're a nun or the fact that you have disabilities, those probably won't be showstoppers, right? Now, if they are something important, it's better to address it when you have the job, okay? Than when you're like just one of a whole bunch of candidates that, they haven't really decided on yet, right? The odds of it working out go down, right, at that point. Okay, so that's how I'd approach it. Lead with your strengths. If there's any kind of thing that could be a negative, you don't know, just don't mention it yet. If people really want to, you could get into it later, but get the job in the bag first, then you can try and address those. If it turns out to be an absolute showstopper, it turns out to be an absolute showstopper, but unless it's an absolute showstopper, they'll be able to deal with it, right? And you will too, and you guys can make it work.